Hello everyone, it's Thursday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello.
Hello,
Morayo. In the building.
Good morning.
I like the way you look like this.
Nice.
Thank
you.
Cupcake,
very
ice
girly.
cream,
Yes.
like a candy, you know? Very, very
Should I do my eye
girly.
like this?
Anyway, how are you doing, YK?
I'm in a better mood today. Lagos State has given us celebration money.
That's good news. But that's saying we'll give you next year, YK. 3 bossas, say it well, so we'll give you next year.
She's from
3 bossas for Lagos State.
People that are owing money. So, somebody even put that they're going to call me out to the bloggers. I say, hey, which kind of wahala is this?
I'm so happy for you. Congratulations.
Life of an entrepreneur, they see the gloss, they see the glam, they see a successful event. They don't see all the work going on in between, your headache, your calculations.
I even went to the ministry on I said,
tourism.
Can I kneel down? Let me kneel down so that you. Hey,
that's it. See, it's so important that the government is supporting this initiative. I mean, celebration is something that you've been doing by yourself for many years. And Lagos in the last few years have supported you, and I'm so happy that
they're continuing.
They're continuing to support, which is great
because you know, normally when there is a changeover like that, they will say no till next year. But this year, governor just did it, and I'm just so grateful.
Thank you to Governor Sanwo-Olu.
I've never met. Okay, sorry.
You met him once, but at least we are
no,
grateful.
actually, I even
met him well.
long before he became governor.
Okay.
You know.
Hey, if you know my own story with that one, let's not go into that. Can we move on?
You know, Abi.
No, it's not about that. I have delivered tiger nut to the man before. Somebody sent me to go and deliver tiger nut to, and I sent a dispatch twice. And the man called me that he liked my tiger nuts very, very, it tastes so good. Like a very was. Second time he ordered, I sent a dispatch. If I had known you'd be governor, I would have gone there myself. Hey.
My husband got someone ordered a phone, and he saw the address. I saw where the office was. He said he just told himself, no dispatch for this one. He drove there and met the person.
Imagine.
And you know, sometimes you need to just do.
I was so stupid. I keep pinching myself like,
you know, we discussed this thing.
I should have known.
Past mistakes are gone.
Yeah.
You were busy.
Regret. Just know that next time.
Just know that next time,
because
send me
this one you will
somebody orders.
You will be kicking yourself. You will dream. You know what will happen? You will dream and you will dream that you are going there. Then you wake up just before you reach.
It's your work that will go ahead of you.
Exactly.
So he will look for the person that does the tiger nut. It's not the dispatch person. So you don't have to be, or he didn't need to be there when he was being
Maybe
sent,
watching now, he would order again.
Exactly.
You're not doing it anymore. You're not doing it anymore.
How are you doing, Jerry?
I'm fine.
You see her stomach. I just jealous
I do understand. I'm very
so
slim, but I know what she did. And I know if I do it, I will achieve the same
What's
thing.
that? The diet?
The keto diet.
I'm telling you.
Mariah's getting there slowly but surely.
Slowly but surely.
Slowly but surely.
But at least it's progress.
How are you doing, Mariam?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing my last, coincidentally, that's what I want to talk about, my keto classes for the year. I want to stop in November because it really takes a lot of work. You have to constantly be talking to people and everything. And I got my first negative feedback from Tokwe. Somebody said that I'd not look for her after she dropped off the
group, the chat, the group.
Yeah, after she dropped off from the group. I looked for her 2 days after. So I just want to say that sometimes, right, it's a decision you need to make. Sometimes, especially when it comes to our health, we make so many excuses. We're looking for someone to hold our hands to the very end. Right. You know, you're an adult. You know what it is that you need. You know what's important for you.
Totally.
You know, so you should
do it yourself.
Own it.
I've been
Take
through a lot
charge.
of temptations, and I had to tell myself, no, absolutely not. And I don't do it.
We were at the cinema together, and I, all by myself, ate all 3 popcorn.
I didn't.
So I
was so
was
proud of
joking,
myself.
and someone said and posted that, Tokwe, you stay in Magodo too. Can you pick me up? I'm not jogging because I don't have anybody to motivate me. And I replied the person, my morning is my morning ritual. I'm praying, I'm listening, I need to be on my own. You can't expect that I'll be the one to help you jog. You decide to jog and you face it. Nobody is waking me up to jog. I wake up by myself to hit the road. So I'm not going to share that moment with you.
It's just like my journey to lose weight. You know, I was exercising, but after I got ill, I said to just stop alcohol for a while, because I noticed that my weight dropped.
Oh wow!
Alcohol.
I haven't had
Why
alcohol.
alcohol? You stopped alcohol?
Yes.
I haven't had anything to drink for like 6 weeks.
6 weeks?
Yeah.
Wow. Why
Maybe longer, since the
that's
24th
huge.
of September.
And she lost a lot of weight just from stopping alcohol.
Just from stopping.
Oh, okay. So don't stop alcohol totally now.
No, Christmas is coming.
God, I love you. You're so real. Continue.
So
God,
don't worry.
did we ever talk about the
I
movie?
should enjoy my Christmas.
No, did we talk about the movie we watched? We watched Living in Bondage 2.
Please, let's clap for Ramsey Noah.
Azil.
Let us clap for Ramsey directing.
Well done.
No. Listen,
It's a-
listen, it was a good movie.
It was a good movie.
It was a good movie. It was something was worth every penny.
Yes.
And it made me
Worth
proud
your
as a
time.
Nigerian.
Yes, I was a proud.
You know, for me, I
was a
just felt
proud-
that finally we've come to the table. I mean, we can sit down with Hollywood and have conversations
Yeah.
right now.
With that
That's where
movie.
we are
movie,
right
Yes.
now with
From
that
the
movie.
story, from the acting, from the directing,
Oh.
cinematography. I was looking for faults.
They killed it.
The
From
actors.
start- Why,
I fell in love in the cinema. I cried in
Why,
the cinema. I
Mom?
laughed.
From
As in-
start to finish. I couldn't go and wee. I was like this. I'm not living this state anymore. I had to hold my peace.
So you guys got to watch Living
So it's a
in
good
Bondage.
movie. So, because the reason why we're doing this is because they don't have as much money as other producers to publicize for that kind of publicity. Because other movies, you hear too much noise. But because they don't have that kind of, I'm not saying,
Noise.
no,
They're
they're
not
not making that
making
kind
as
of
much
noise.
noise.
Let me not say they don't have money. They might have money, but they're not making the kind of noise others did. So when you watch the movie, it's good to share your story so that others can help them, because they need to make that money back.
Yes.
We need to support them to ensure they make that money back, because they did a fantastic
Go
job.
and watch the film
Yeah.
because
They
you
did a
guys have
fantastic
really
job.
spoken.
I'm even going to watch it again.
I'm going to watch it again because they've done a good job, and we should support Nigerian things, and it's a fantastic movie.
Muriah is wearing lashes.
Oh, Lord.
I have to go on a break. We'll be right back. Okay.
We got you.
We're going to start with the... Let's get serious. Paper time. All right? We're going to start with the punch. The National Working Committee begins reconciliation as Oshiomhole Obaseki split APC. Picture here, one dies as shooting mobbed by Bayelsa PDP rally. 3 sentenced to death for kidnapping Lagos monarch. Man murders wife, shoots brother in Imo. Roads, federal government releases 650 billion naira for capital projects. DPR halts construction of filling stations in border areas. Showore Shoyinka knocks DSS, says action callous and criminal. Okay, which story are we starting with? The monarch?
Oh, okay.
Which one do you want to go with?
The Bayelsa, because
yeah,
it's
go ahead,
the
please.
yeah. So on Wednesday, yesterday, during the campaign for the Bayelsa elections holding on Saturday, there was a shooting. It became a violent case to the point that a particular driver for a radio station that was there was shot dead. This is really sad. It's sad, especially because you would expect that in this day and age, we sort of have like some common sense when it comes to things like this.
Thank you.
It does not pay us to be violent. You're violent, the person that is going to be running for the election is alive doing his thing, and then you are not even going to be, and if he wins or loses, you don't get to even be a part of this thing that you're fighting for like
I intentionally
this.
did not want to read that story because I got, it was when you now said that the driver of a radio station died.
Yeah.
That's when I paid attention, because if you're a young person and at this day and age, you go and put your life in danger for APC, PDP, MNN, FRA, SA, party, it's your own business. You're an adult. At this point, we should all tell each other the truth. You should not put yourself in danger for any party.
But I think,
And you shouldn't carry out violence.
If you read the story and if you listen to the news, which I did, the thugs went to the PDP campaign ground and they shot. Was it not a campaign ground where they were campaigning, and then they let out.
Our hearts go out to the driver's family. I mean, they lost
went to work.
family. I mean, that's a really sad story. That young man who went to work lost his life. Let's take one more story.
The monarch that they kidnapped in 2016, the judge has sentenced them to death for kidnapping. But I'm a bit confused because she sentenced them first to 10 years, then for murder, then for attempted murder to death, then for another one, life sentence. So they have 3 sentences. Life sentence, 21 years, life sentence, 10 years, and death. So will they first do the life sentence before they kill them?
They rarely actually kill them. So once you say you're sentenced to death, they tend to have life sentence.
But there's a law in Lagos that kidnapping, once you are caught and somebody dies, you sentence.
Because that's what she said. She said she wants to send a very strong message that this, especially in Lagos State.
Okay, moving on to Daily Sun. Oshomole Obaseki fight messier. Oshomole Obaseki's fight gets messier. Faction suspends governor, deputy, others. APC governors ask National Chairman to convene secretary emergency meeting. Senate reintroduces bill to reestablish Southeast Developmental Commission. FG disowns Senate on hate speech penalty. Supreme Court to explain ruling on Buhari versus Atiku tomorrow. Reps direct JAM to suspend proposed use of NIN for UTME. And Bayelsa PDP APC trade blame as many feared dead. Okay.
Federal government disowns cyber the sentence for hate speech. So yesterday, Blame Saraki, yes, she, on behalf of Minister for Information, was saying that, well, first of all, we need to know the difference between a bill and an act. So this is very much still a bill and is being, you know, going through the process. Yeah. And she says that even though the person who sponsored the bill has asked for a death penalty, this is something that needs to go through the process. And also she says that in 2014 or 2015, there's a Cybercrime Act, which she believes also sort of, takes care of those people who are involved in hate speech anyway. The Senate is also saying that, please, we should give them time. We should be patient. So this is going through the second reading.
Let's not put the cart before the horse.
That they have our interests at heart and they will look to it and see how it's
exactly what that was.
Let me just say Obaseki and Oshomole story. As I'm an Edo person by marriage, I'm very concerned about what is going on there, because the truth is I've been to Benin twice this year, and the pulse of the people is that the governor is working. That's their perspective.
What's the paper saying?
The paper is saying now that a faction of APC has suspended the governor from APC. Oshomole, Adams Oshomole is the chairman of APC, national chairman, and I feel that his job is to unite the party and present a united front. Can he please find a way to unite the party within his state?
In addition to what the paper is saying, actually, the DG of the Progressives Governors Forum was saying that he should convey a NEC meeting or resign. So there are various factions doing saying different things. Now, the deputy, Oshomole's deputy has said, that man is speaking on his own, that he's not speaking on behalf of the party. So there are people, some are saying that he should resign, others are saying that Obaseki has been suspended from the APC party. So there are various factions. We're not really sure what's going on at this moment, but the point is that it's a political issue, and I'd rather us not get involved. Once they sort themselves out,
they shoot somebody on the road.
Please, let them mind.
Since they shoot themselves anyhow.
Let's mind our business.
Let's mind.
I retract my statement.
I am a grandmother.
So I beg, let us just move on to Nigerian Tribune. I cannot.
I want to see my grandchild.
I can't keep myself. I can't keep myself. Nigerian Tribune.
No, I can't come and go and kill
myself. APC Governors Forum DG Oshomole convene NEC meeting now, resign. APC PDP supporters clash in Bayelsa, 1 killed. Soyinka Falana knock the FG and DSS over continued detention of Sowore, their attack on protesters. Osun releases 472 million naira to Lautech. Buhari Atiku judgment Supreme Court to give reasons tomorrow. Gunmen kill 3 policemen in Kaduna, and hate speech law already exists. Let's talk about the Sowore story. Who has that story? Yes, YK?
I didn't read the Soyinka one. Okay. One I read was where the DSS are saying nobody has come to pick Sowore. That is why he hasn't been released. That is only these hoodlums, protesters, these so-called protesters that
exactly what they said. Right?
Soyinka is saying
that they should release this. Of course, the global embarrassment, and that they need to ensure the rule of law is upheld, and they should release the man. But DSS responded, just like you said, that they've not found the right person. The right person has not come to...
Who is the right person? If he has been released,
lawyers.
Excuse me. His papers have been...
Falana said that he sent people to...
Yes, that's what I wanted to say.
And his papers have even been... They've tidied everything. So they know that he has been free and he has met his bail conditions.
So they are
You
saying,
can
no,
release
they,
him
said,
on the streets.
they also said that DSS is saying that those who stood shorty for Sowore should present themselves and have him released to them. So now this is a different.
Is this how it's always done, or is this done for this particular case? But you know, the protesters also were mistreated. You know, according So that's what Shoyinka was also saying, that is also an embarrassment. They use live bullets. It's what he claims, you know, to disperse protesters, and that is wrong.
Okay, let's move on to Daily Trust. APC.
Sorry, Mariah, I was just going to say, this is why we say we can't come and go and kill ourselves. See this man, he was protesting. Nobody is standing behind him. The one that they even said let them go and protest, they beat them.
The whole court self, I say release him. And they're not listening.
And they're not listening.
It is us, they will not.
Well, we'll be doing your view from prison.
We will not say anything.
Let us just be careful, though,
story.
Please, ladies of your view. Let us not.
I retract my statement again. I retract what I said earlier.
Just say they said that. They said it's finished.
Your view from prison.
Daily Trust. APC crisis deepens as governors move against Oshomole. Okay, minority kicker Senate okays 10 billion naira refund to Kogi. Who has that story?
Who has this story?
Your view from prison.
No. We need to state the facts.
Yes, we'll say the story. Yes, we'll say the story.
Say the story, White.
Okay, let me say the story.
Kogi, 10 billion.
They have released, the Senate has signed the paper to release 10 billion to the Kogi government. Yes. And
as a repayment of their loan.
The refund for their loan.
Refund, yes.
But the other faction now in the Senate are shouting, the witch.
2 days to election.
2 days to election. The witch, who doesn't know that the witch that cried last night and the baby died this morning? Is it 2 days to election that you will release the money?
That's not in the paper.
It's there.
And they advised that it should be done a week
after. The guy said it.
Oh, he used that code.
And Lawan said, let me hear your... No, I will still approve it.
So
quiet.
They are recommending.
There was noise in the Senate.
The senator is recommending that they should release it a week after.
This is not bad. This suggestion, this fund is for the buildings. You know, the roads is for a refund for fixing roads, construction roads. It was approved by the president. It was approved. It's now approved by the Senate, and they want to get the money just before election. It is extremely wrong for them to release money just before election.
And let us remind our senators, all the states. Remember, the governors from said, please refund us our money, and they said no, they're not refunding. So why is it Kogi? What makes Kogi special? That you're refunding only Kogi
just before the election.
Have expended money on actually building roads in their various states.
The witching and the crying and the baby.
This is
when I heard the man say it. I said, it's true.
Let me find a story we've not taken at all.
We haven't taken the story about roads. So the Minister for Finance and Budget Strategy Planning said that they are going to release 900 billion naira towards roads. That a lot of roads are bad in Nigeria. The government hasn't done enough. That is what she said specifically, and that they need to do more concerning roads, and funds will be released now to face those roads. 900 billion is expected to get into accounts of the Ministry for Works for December to start fixing more roads. So we're looking forward to seeing.
Let's because we all want to grow up, Abi. So there's a Mr. Denny Williams' 80th birthday party this day. He's surrounded with his family, children. That's good news.
Yeah.
In this country that life expectancy is about 56. Somebody has lived up to 80. You must
and today is World Diabetes
Day. And they're talking about how it's really expensive for people with diabetes in Nigeria to get treatment. So people are saying that, you know, and there's so many Nigerians, you know, living that lifestyle. I would like to advise us, talking about keto again, that's another way. Honestly, it works, because what happens with diabetes is that it's about your blood sugar. So if you're able to eat a diet that does not introduce sugar into it, it will help you. So if you use diet, and that's cheaper for you.
It's cheaper for you to prevent it than to treat it.
If you eat rice, there's sugar.
Exactly. So we have
there's sugar in fruits.
Okay, we'll find a day to discuss diet. Let's not do it right now. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll discuss a few topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So, the acting chairman of EFCC, Ibrahim Magu, recently reacted to a slang by Nigerian young people that say they want to blow. According to him, the desperate quest for Nigerian youth to blow, which depicts desperation for quick wealth, has pushed many of them into committing crimes, which has increased the trend in the involvement of young people in internet-related crimes. Now, what are your thoughts on this? He actually advised that instead of saying, I want to blow, you should say, I want to grow, suggesting that you start from the scratch and gradually go up. We'd like to hear your thoughts on this concept of I want to blow. What does it mean? Is it a good thing? Call us on 070-80668014. You can also tweet us at TVC. Can I please hashtag your TVC so we can read your tweets? All right. So some say that this is subjective because it depends on what blow you mean. It depends on what you believe.
Exactly.
Exactly, because I wish Obiajulu was here today. Obiajulu is always saying,
I want to blow. Yes.
Now, in Obiajulu's case, it's not that she's not working, but she wants to blow musically. She wants to, be known for her music. So sometimes when they say they want to blow, it has to do with music or,
Let's define blow. When we say blow in Nigeria, what we mean is sudden
Obiajulu
entrance into wealth. That is the way they see blow. Blow is that you just come into it. You just receive 100 million. You just get an endorsement. Something suddenly blows. That is the way we refer to it.
But that's not
We're not referring to working.
That's not
what
what I
Magu
know.
is describing is the fact that people feel and they are waiting to blow. They don't understand that there's a process of growth, and that's the change he's trying to make. So let's not make it look like, blow is same as grow. It isn't. If you ask those young people, those teenagers...
When Obiajulu is talking about blowing, Obiajulu is saying she wants to be known for her music. Obiajulu has been working. It's not that she just woke up today and says, oh, I want to blow. No, she wants to blow. She wants to become famous for her music.
But if we define it properly, even based on Obiajulu's intentions, if somebody else comes to her tomorrow and gives her a record deal...
In her mind, she has blown.
So really, she wants to blow. Yeah, maybe she's willing to do the work, but the blow part of it is that
sudden.
it's sudden. It happens,
Okay.
something just happened, and I'm now in wealth. Yes.
I agree with everything he said. There's a process of growth, and yes. But also, in my own understanding of what blow means is I've been working so hard at this thing. I can't wait for my own time to make a hit. I can't wait for my own time to finally be among the stars. And it happens. And it's not just in music. We have people like them, Zuckerberg. They will tell you how it took a group of young people, coming together and working on software and things like that. At the time that they started, they had no idea, but he has blown. Do you understand? He has become a billionaire because of something like that. And that is how I see what blow is. But I also understand what the EFCC acting chairman is also saying, which is and for me, it's more in success, what we define as success. Because a lot of people feel that until they blow, they haven't made it.
That's where I want to take this conversation to. So let us define blow. What exactly does it mean?
Because we keep waiting for that sudden inflow. And some people never have it. Some people never, all their life, have that sudden, huge wealth. Yet they are very successful and they are very happy and they have built successful businesses. The business has fed them. It has produced children. That akara seller that has 5 graduates from selling akara did not blow, but she grew and she's successful. So when we begin to define blow as that, when we say blow, I want to blow, that akara woman that is married, she and her husband are managing themselves, they gather the money every day, they send children to school, the children are doing well, now begins to feel like she hasn't scratched the surface of what success means because she didn't blow. Because one man did not come and say, I want to turn your akara into international business. I'm going to give you 1 billion naira. I will now. So she doesn't feel she hasn't blown.
I think that the problem is because we worship wealth too much. So success is only defined by money in Nigeria.
Yes.
That it's not that somebody is not blowing or somebody is not growing, because you can blow and not have money. What if you blow and you don't have money? What if your view women we have if it's
about
fame,
blow,
we are blown because when you go on the road they know you. They stop
the
you.
Money?
They will, Miriam, I love you. Oh, great to
you're my best.
So if it's that one, we have blown, but we don't have the money to back up that blowing. So it is because
that's what we celebrate.
Success is defined only by money.
So what I'd like to achieve from this conversation is let us define, because I think what's her name? Nima had said that let's define success.
Yeah.
I remember I gave an example where I was at an event. A professor was telling us all his accomplishments. He did this, he did that. You know, he's been this. He was a pious man. He was very he upheld his stature of integrity all through his career life and all that. So I admired him. But we're in a room full of young people, millennials, and they weren't inspired.
Yes.
The man spoke thinking that he was saying with the suit, and the kids were just, and I said, sir, hang in there. And I spoke to these guys. Are you inspired by him? No. And I asked him, how many cars do you have? He says 1. How many houses do you have? He says he has 1. How many yachts have you built? He says he doesn't have any. How many houses abroad do you have? He said he doesn't have any. I said, sorry, sir, all that your accomplishments, you have not inspired these young girls. Because for them, success is those acquiring that, all those material things. Yeah. Yes. So I think what we need to begin to do now is let's redefine what this blow should mean.
What success should be.
Because if you take it in little pockets, in little components, okay, what if you pass your exam? That's something to celebrate. You got a job, and nothing to celebrate. You're starting a business, you have an idea. Those are little things we must begin to appreciate the success in those things, but we don't until the big money comes. Yeah. We've not blown.
Yeah, I want to use this. Yeah, see, I want to talk about my mom. She'll be retiring next year, and this is a woman that came from really humble beginnings. Right. She had, you know, even her education was somewhat truncated because, well, you're a girl and there are too many children, anyways. And she found herself. I mean, she took herself through nursing school, and here she is today after many years in the nursing services. Many people will look at nurses and think, why would I ever want to do that? But she has 3 children. We've all gone, I mean, to really good schools. My brother went to Babcock. I heard some people talking about, Babcock is so expensive. That woman on her nurse's salary took her son, you know, went to that school. So for me, it's success. You know, the other day she was like, I put this, our pension is coming. I want to put this money for my grandchildren. This is a woman on her nurse's salary. She's even thinking of her grandchildren on top. A lot of us think, that's why politicians are doing this, because they need to take care of their grandchildren. A nurse is still able to do that for her grandchildren. So for me, my mom is successful in so many ways. Fantastic. And what's even more successful for me is people would call me, oh, is that your mom? I saw a woman that looks like you at Jude. That woman is so lovely. We went to the place, the nurses weren't behaving, and immediately she showed everybody was behaving properly. I'm like, it makes me feel proud, you know. Right. And she has given me she's put me a bit higher than herself so that I can do more, and that's what I see success as.
See, what you just explained is not blue. And that is the real deal. Is people should understand that blow is not real. Mark Zuckerberg did not blow. Nobody blows. Everybody grows. Those that make it look like they blew or they blow, they don't have anything. When you check under, there's nothing there. They are faking it. They're just making noise. So I look at a lot of this pressure, and I know someone just committed suicide. And as I dig deep into the story, I realized that she's under a lot of pressure. Pressure that the reality of her life is that she doesn't have money. But when you see her on social media, it looks like she's, you know,
she's blown.
She's blown. So this faking it is the problem. You don't blow. The rich people grew their wealth. Your mom succeeded. Yeah, the real wealth grew their wealth. There are illegitimate wealth that are gotten illegitimately, and that must not be celebrated. Yeah. And we've all agreed on this culture that we mustn't celebrate wealth without substance. Yeah. Wealth without a story should never be celebrated.
We agree.
We're all agreeing on that. We're all on that.
We're on the same.
But we are saying that is the main problem in Nigeria, because I remember there was a head of state. I don't want to mention names. There was a head of state that everybody said, this head of state is corrupt. He has stopped money. He left power. He came to Lagos. He came to Lagos. And everybody has agreed, though, that he chopped money. If you see the way they were all bowing and scraping because he had money. Yep. They were bowing, and as he walked into the hall, IBB, as he walked into the hall, everybody stood up. But this is somebody that everybody behind their back, they say,
let me pause for a second. You see, I would like to hop on that story. Let me take Kanu. Kanu has been holding for a while. Kanu, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Hello?
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hello?
You are live on
I hear
TV,
you.
sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm here. Good morning. This is
Sorry.
So sorry.
Okay, what I was going to say, YK, is that let me tell young people that don't get illegal wealth. You know, it's not that those people who do that, either they don't have long lives or something bad happens to them. Going by the person you just said, I'm not saying anything bad has happened to him, but he has lived long. A lot of these people that stole money from Nigeria, let's not even use him, let's look at others. Many of them lived to their 80s, 90s. Some of them actually, we might not know the understories, but people say, but I'm still seeing them now. He's still alive.
But we're using them as examples.
So why are we now negating what they did? Like,
No. So, Murayo, I get what you're saying.
Yes.
They are still alive. You think that because they stole our wealth in Nigeria, because obviously they did not work to earn that money. Because if you are being an head of state does not pay you the money you have.
How do we criminalize what they did?
But Murayo, when we are making examples of corrupt people, we will never use your father as an example of a corrupt person. People would always say, the first time I met Murayo and I told my husband said, Akabashon, I know him, he was a former Keneko and he was talking about all the way he fought for democracy. We would talk about it. We would always talk about how this particular head of state also came into wealth by robbing us. Why we don't have hospitals, why we don't have roads, because we've had a bunch of corrupt leaders. And until we start naming and shaming them and stop celebrating them because they are wealthy, which is why I'm happy we're discussing this. We must stop celebrating just having wealth and celebrate having value and substance and changing lives positively.
From the UK. Good morning. Are you there? Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good morning. Yes, I'm here.
Yes, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay, yeah, please. I just want to make a contribution and probably correct an impression made by Miriam. Mark Zuckerberg didn't blow. He came to where he is today through growth. When we talk of wealth and success, comfort, there are three different things entirely. Some could be evolutionary and some revolutionary. In Nigeria concept, blow means sudden wealth. And most times you can't trace the source.
Exactly.
But for growth, one will work and take time to get to where they want to get to. And when they get to that pinnacle, we term it to be blow. It is not, because they've done the hard work, they had a foundation, and the foundation took them to the pinnacle. So the problem we have in our society, as YK said earlier, is that we have no definition for wealth, success, and that is what we need to change with the new millennium.
Thank you very much.
With what he said, because he's right. Blowing is, because somebody has tweeted here that blow is our pidgin word for breakthrough. Now, I want to give you an example. Davido, before he blew, he had come to Celebration the year before. He was a nobody. He was begging to go on stage. By the next year, he had blown. And he came, he said, last year I was begging to come on, now look at me now. That was the day he sang Omo, but he went that Omo Babalo track. So, are you going to say he did anything illegal? Yeah. He didn't. But, so are you going to say he didn't work? He had been working, because I proved to you that he had come the year before. Yeah. And he had been playing his music, but he had not blown. But when he came the next year, he had now blown.
So so we now need to do that differentiation.
Exactly.
Yes. So for me, which is that I agree with Yeni's definition as well. That's how I see it. Someone had once described like hard work and success and how we see it. So we have this synchronized swimmers. We know.
For a second.
Okay.
Wait, let's go on a quick break.
Okay.
So you can hold that thought. Stay with us. We'll be right back, please.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, so Mariam was going to say something.
So I was trying to talk about success and how sometimes it just looks easy when you see it. When it happens, it's like, oh, this happened out of nowhere. And there's this example I always like to use. They talk about these synchronized swimmers. You just see them just like they are gliding on the water. But they say when you look beneath them, their legs are working so fast. So for a lot of people, when you see that blown image, when you see that person who has finally come into their own, it's not necessarily that the person just woke up one morning and it happened for the person. The person had been working over time. And that is what I refer to, that is what I personally refer to as finally blown or finally come into your own.
Can we talk about because I don't know if I wanted to use the word contentment here, because sometimes it's like people, they define blow based on what they see, the life, the glam, and they don't bother to see the work that was done before. Yeah. So maybe what we need to try to achieve here is making people understand and appreciate where they are at every point in time. Because I see people who are flashy, and I don't, honestly, personally, it doesn't move me.
Neither does
Be flashy, wear all the designer from head to toe, buy the biggest car. Honestly, I am not moved. I'm actually very comfortable with what I have. Yeah. So how did I get to that mindset? I'm comfortable, but a lot of young people are not there. They constantly feel like, I want to be like that person.
From the perspective of someone who is hungry. So I'm not moved by you having stuff. I'm actually very okay with everybody having their own stuff. I want mine. Do you get? I'm not in the category of, oh, I'm just content. I'm content and I'm happy. But I am extremely ambitious and hungry for mine.
What are you hungry for?
So I am hungry to maximize my potential. I'm hungry that now one head person will get money gets. Now one brain the person gets, I will get my own. So, but I am not going to cut corners. I'm not going to steal. I'm not going to cheat. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to work. So I am not going to say that that young person that wants to have money should now suddenly forget about their ambition. I'm saying be ambitious but have values. Be ambitious but have standards. Be ambitious but know that there's a boundary you will not cross. You will not see money meant for hospitals and say because you want to take care of your generations unborn, and you will steal the money and you will rid the hospitals of having equipment. You will not say because you want to drive a fancy car, and a lot of our political leaders do this. You will not say because you want to drive a fancy car, our roads will be bad, people will be dying, having accidents because you want to be wealthy. That is not having values.
I'll give you an example, myself as an example. For Celebration, we actually make, from sponsors, we get a lot of money from sponsors and we throw it right back into Celebration. Celebration is not a money-making venture. We do not make money from Celebration, but we get millions. And we pump it right back into Celebration. Now, if I was a greedy person, I would just say half of that money, please. So this car that I've been saying I want to buy, I would have bought cars since.
Yeah, but that's not right.
But it would not have been right. Celebration would have died because I am being greedy. So it is, we have to just learn the difference between greed and honesty. Greed and
it's about
hunger.
Values.
It's
about values.
You can be hungry. You put a plate of rice in front of me. Mary and Surya, I ate rice yesterday. You put a plate of rice in front of me. I will eat, I will be belly full. But the rice was so sweet, I will now start eating more and more and more. Then I will not complain about my weight.
Constipated.
But I knew when I was full, but because the rice was sweet, I was greedy and I ate more than. So we have to learn the difference between greed and being belly full.
Yes, and the love for wealth and corruption has, for me, even as a country, that's what has caused us to be where we are today. My husband always says that if he lived in a decent society, his dream is just be a lecturer, have like a tiny motorcycle or something, go to work, come back. You know, there's light, there's, you know, so if corrupt politicians had not sort of eating us dry to the point that people cannot even live in a decent society. So what a lot of people are even fighting for now is just enough money to make sure that I live decently in an indecent society.
A woman that I saw, people ask me, how do you live with your mother-in-law and your grandmother-in-law in the same house? How are you managing? But you see, the secret to that is that I actually admire them. And I love the life they lived. And I like to learn from them. My mother-in-law, she doesn't like wahala. She does her own thing. Yes, she can be, you know, have her own issues. We're all human beings. But I like the fact that she's content. She's blessed. God has blessed her. She's happy. She sees her children, her children's children, and she's lived a worthy life. Her own mother too is there living a way. So for me, that is success at the highest order, and I want to live that kind of life. So it's not until you have all the trillions of trillions and you're flying all over the world that makes you happy. What these two women have done for me is very inspiring.
And I'm so happy that we're very different on this table, you know, because in that same space, I'm going to live old. I'm going to I'll nurse my grandchildren. I have 3 boys. They will marry, they will born, and I'll take care of them. But I'm not satisfied with. I'm planning an event, and I was talking to my coach, and my coach said that, oh, don't use big event center. Use something small. I said, I don't want to play small. And he was looking at me like, what do you mean by playing small? I said, because every time I think in my head, I always think if you are going to do anything, you have to do it big. And it's not bad. It's not a bad thing to want good things. It's not a bad thing to want. It's that you must never compromise your values for it. You must never, to the detriment of your selfishness, that I want to live this life, and then you will now put somebody else in danger. So it's finding that balance, because there are human beings in this life that have that balance. There are people that have been able, so we will define growth. I think it might help to define what growth is. Because if we just say, okay, be content, and somebody will say, I'm content, I live in a one-bedroom flat apartment. We're living in a corrupt country. If you get sick today, you need millions to treat a kidney issue. This is Nigeria. So in the space of where we are, people need money. Let's say the truth. But let us say that, make the money the right way.
So I have a little problem with the way you just explained it, which is I've read books by people who are made billions. And one of the things that they always say is about what they decide to do is the product that got them the billions. They were passionate about the product. They were passionate about the service. That is what gave them true happiness. The billions that it brought them just happened to be the offshoot of what they did. So that is not, for me, don't go for the money. So for me, I feel that you want to do an event and your coach is saying to you, don't make it a big place. And I agree with that. So it's just the same thing I was saying to Mariah with her Tiger Nut. Your work will lead you before kings. So don't make it about how you package it. It's not your package. It's not the package that will attract the king to it. It's the content.
The content will still be there. You see, it's a fantastic point. What I'm saying is you can do small, and it's okay if that's your wiring. You can do big, and it will still have great content. The fact that it's big does not mean... Somebody said something online. Somebody said something online, said that it is a woman that would marry Dangote's child, or a man will marry Dangote's child, because most of the time we tend to be scared of marrying into wealth. We think that there's something fishy or dark about it. No, we like to marry small and grow. I'm just talking about generally, we just tend to...
Let me use your view, and you know this example, your view as an example. Because when we started, there was a lot of pressure from a few of the co-hosts that, listen, let us do the big thing. Let's go out there, billboards, let's do... And I said, no, that's not why we're here. We're here to help reorientate the minds of people. Let's have the conversation. The blow will meet us where we are. We will grow. It might be painstaking.
We have not blown.
We're not there yet.
We're still struggling.
We're still struggling, I know. But the point is that, because, the point I'm trying to make is that if we're other people, that first initial, ladies of your view, will be everywhere, we'll blast it. Great. Everybody knows there'll be shouting.
I want to make an example.
Listen, the point is that they'll make a lot of noise, but after that, it's like a flash in the pan. And it goes away. You go right back to status quo. But because we are building gradually, we are like the fern. We are building and we're spreading, we're strong.
Okay, let's pray.
Let me just use an example. Do you remember the day we went to watch the movie? A couple met Mariah and said, this is our daughter, like a little girl, maybe 2 or 3. So we named her Mariah after you. My God, my body was cold.
I get that a lot.
I'm like, I named her Mariah after you.
Yes.
I mean, what greater honor?
Now, see,
what greater honor
Mariah,
is that?
So this world is full of different people. And we are all different. And the truth is that as long as we're living within the values of humanity and humanness, and we're not wicked or evil to the next person, we must be allowed to express the fullness of our individuality. So you like that slow, steady growth. The Moabudu of this world, where she was launching Inspire Africa, made noise. Till tomorrow, she's still making noise. Is she small? No. As long as she's living within values, as she raised people, yes. So let us focus on the values. Guys, don't blow, grow. Focus on the values, add value to people's lives.
Nice point. Let me take this from the US, I believe, Dallas, I think. Thanks for calling. Are you there? Oh, yeah.
Yes, I'm here.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead,
Good
please. Morning.
Well, I tell you guys, you're doing a fantastic job, and you got me addicted to this show.
Thank you.
I'm always up every morning watching.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, trying to look back at the last caller said about Zuckerberg. His efforts and his products got him recognition, not him blowing. People make that mistake. You being recognized and you blowing, they're two different things entirely. in Nigeria, we're really more concerned about making a statement. We live in a society that if you don't make a statement, you've not done anything. Someone who just come from nowhere, maybe like another grad now, is predominantly focused on buying an iPhone 11 rather than focusing on developing themselves intellectually or trying to develop themselves academically. Placing values on material things that we do, that really, I wouldn't say really matters, kind of. And another issue is people they look up to in society. What was the process in which they got it from? People don't care about how it was done. They care about what has been done, what they can see. If we focus more on the process, for example, now in Nigeria, when primary school or secondary school, they talk about 2 times 2, 5 times 10, 10 times 20, we give you the results. How do we get the answer to that question? We just want to know the answer. We don't know how the answer came about. So that's what we need to talk about. We really need to focus on our processes rather than the products. We say, oh, corruption is wrong, corruption is bad.
Thank you very much, Oye. Very great.
What time is it in Dallas?
So let's use collaboration as an example. When we started this show, YK, I remember YK used to struggle every year to put that thing together. But gradually, she did it slow and steady. She didn't go and beg anybody. Eventually, sponsors, she called sponsors. The one that will show up. The one that not show up, but she'll still do collaboration. It's 20 plus years now, YK. And now, see where collaboration is, where the Lagos State government is helping out. By next year, YK, federal government will be helping out. In 2 years' time, international bodies will be begging you to pay for collaboration.
Amen.
I have said that. It's going to happen because you have actually paid your dues, YK. So we need to celebrate that consistency.
Yeah.
We see the graph grow gradually. She didn't just start from day one and go straight and insist and demand and get the money. We saw the growth.
That's growth.
The whole president of France came. That's what YK did. So these are the kind of successes we must celebrate.
Yeah.
Deliberately. We must push those kind of messages. YK is
because this guy called, and you know, I just realized the problem. It's a Nigerian problem.
Yeah.
It is
It is.
because when you look at Nigerians, we're all over the world. We always like to show ourselves. We like the big jewelry, the big cars. Now I'm going to go to England as an example, or London, just London. 9 times out of 10, when you see the big cars, it's a Nigerian inside the car. The BMs, the Lexus, it is a Nigerian inside the car.
Black man, sir.
When you see a white man inside the Lexus or a one big car, he's about 60, 70. He has worked.
So the values are strong in there.
You will see a young couple, they don't even have cars. A young English
and they're
couple,
happy.
They don't have cars. They don't even believe in cars because the wahala of finding parking space. But Nigerians, we cannot be in London and not have car.
Why are we?
The same way,
it's a cycle.
The same way we want to take bus here. Myself, I'm shouting, I want car.
It's a
What's
cycle.
wrong with taking bus? We like, I say, me, boss, hey, God. We don't want to.
Is it not because we don't have infrastructure?
It's the value system in Nigeria. The value system is the system of wealth.
Hassan, are you there? Thanks for calling.
Good morning, all of you.
Good morning, sir. Go ahead, please.
You're all looking good.
Thank you.
Please, let me make one thing very clear to all of you, please. The acting chairman of EFCC, Ibrahim Magu, made a point. And let us not digress about it. Because he is a man in charge of EFCC with many 400 guys in his net. And he knew their slang. And he's giving us the information about their slang. And the issue is this. Whenever they talk about this blow of a thing, it's about make money anyhow, illegal, illegitimate money. So he's now trying to make sure that we don't follow the trend. You understand? Because our society is becoming much more materialistic.
Exactly.
People don't care how you make the money. What they are after, where is the money? Good money.
Thank you very much. So we need a hashtag grow, not blow.
Yeah, so for me, I was saying that it could be...
Materialistic, I said it. You know, the callers are giving me materialistic. It's a materialistic society.
Totally.
Yeah. So for me, I feel it's a cycle. So first of all, you gave an example of people who live in Europe, but they live in a decent society. You can go and get a bus. You can go and get a train. You know, your transportation is good. You can come to your house and switch on the lights. The bills come, you pay your bills. You know, everything works. And it works because the people who were there to make sure it works really gave back. They were not stealing money and putting aside for some, you know, life for themselves and for their grandchildren. So because we live in a materialistic society, our leaders understand that that is what we need over values. They come in there, they take what they have to take, and then they leave us with nothing. And then they come back to us and give us little out of our money, but we're there worshiping them. So we're doing ourselves by ourselves. That is where we are now.
It's the truth.
We have to go. Let's come back. When we come back, do we continue this conversation or we just won't? Stay with us. We'll be right back. We have other topics. But go ahead.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So we have another topic, but before that, let's take a few tweets on this one. So we can
first is Akim Boyewa says, many bloat about with ill-gotten wealth in Nigeria. See how much money we spend on marriages and funerals. Mayogo Akintunde says, this has been the bane of the society now. Nobody could be exonerated, even the so-called men of God. May God save us from this cankerworm and put us in his way.
Yeah, Paul Diamond PD says, God bless you, Miriam. Your story about your mom reminds me of my dad. He lost his job in the bank years ago while I was in secondary school, but he didn't give up. He kept selling his stuff and sent us to school. Today, out of 5 children, 4 are graduates. Our last born is in his 2nd year.
Wow.
Honorable Ademola Alalade says, want to blow means different things to different category of people. We all know what blow means. Everyone has the right to use the word in any way they want. Blow can be scatter. It can mean success. So it depends on what context you use the word. For me, I want to grow and blow.
Festus Akinboyewa says, a good name is always better than great riches. Olayemi Oluwafemi says, the process of blow is a process. This, in essence, means grow to blow, not just expect instantaneous blow.
I like that. So can I end on that?
Can I just read Casey's one? Casey said, good morning. It depends on the perspective of the individual. Better to grow than to blow. You blow in the process of growing. I use myself as an example. I am a young footballer and I go for training every day, hoping that one day I will blow.
So
Foge has blown. No?
So who?
My son, he has blown. Yeah. He's always liked football, and finally the coach has said he would like for him to join the school club and go and play other teams. Fantastic. So he has blown.
So we grow to blow. That's the hashtag, grow to blow. Like, that's not the hashtag now.
Yes.
Yes.
Hashtag
grow to blow.
Grow to blow. Fantastic. Okay, moving on to another topic. A Nigerian man recently expressed concern about the content of most novels. According to him, the children novels are about wicked stepmothers, evil witches, instead of stories to warn them about unpleasant men they would encounter in life. Let's tell them stories that will keep them alert to perverts, rapists, pedophiles, and and leave the other stories, because we hardly have wicked witches anymore, wicked stepmothers anyway. Do you agree?
How do you know?
Well, we hardly have them now.
We don't talk about them.
Don't talk about them now.
Most
So
people are
what are your thoughts? Do you
single,
agree? So, I mean, talking about wicked stepmothers, this person is advising that authors should begin to write stories about the kinds of men women would encounter in future, and probably vice versa, the kind of women men will also encounter. And
we talk about that enough.
So, so do you agree? You can call us on 070-8066-8014. You can also tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Mike, do you agree?
I don't agree.
Okay.
I think abusive men or women is too much of an important story to put inside a storybook. Storybook is for fairy tale. A man raping you is not a fairy tale. It is a fact, and your child has to know. If this man comes at you, it's not inside. So one day the man said and the man came and raped. Which story am I going to tell my child like that? Come, if anybody man comes to you, do this and do that, shout, scream. I will not put it in a storybook.
But don't you think that simplifying it in some way a child can understand is easy? It's an easier way for them to be aware of these kinds of people in future. So they know that they can't, that talking to strangers may cause you to be in harm's way. You know, so those are ways you can simplify these stories. Don't you feel like?
So I get what he's trying to say, especially if we're looking at the Oyinbo books, the fairy tales. So you hear a lot about the man, the Prince Charming that comes to save you because your stepmother locked you up and things like that. But I also feel that in those fairy tales, there are stories that talk about strangers. So you don't put them as rapists. So the Little Red Riding Hood and the wolf, who was a stranger, and she was asked not to speak to the person.
The wolf is different from a human being. Let's not combine wolf is wolf.
No, what I'm saying is that in story, in the story form for a child, you need to
connect that to a human being.
No, that is how you start with children. No, have you heard of Mr. Pantosaurus? It's a funny-looking dinosaur, but it's teaching them about keeping their bodies safe so that someone does not touch them. So that is how you communicate with kids. You know, you use those images until they are old enough to now have a proper conversation. Me too. I do not agree that you put rapist story inside a children's book. So, but I feel that that's not what he's trying to say. But let's create for them. Yeah, let's create something in a child-friendly way that they are aware that they are not only wicked stepmothers. They could be wicked stepfathers. They could be men who are wicked. And, you know, just be careful of wicked people in general.
This is a bit extreme. There are other things like heartbreakers. There are stories like men who actually have multiple girlfriends. So those are stories that and he's saying that prepare their minds that there's not always Prince Charming coming to sweep you off your feet. There are people out there that actually come into your life to destroy things.
But okay, so let me ask you a question, Morayo. Let me throw the question to you. As you are growing, were you praying to meet your own Prince Charming?
Yes.
Of course.
And when
because I saw it in Cinderella, that was stories.
So when you met your husband, did you look at him as my Prince Charming? Okay, maybe he wasn't the. He was what does she call it?
TDF. Yes, I was.
Yes, he was tall, dark, and light-skinned. Tall, dark, and handsome.
How was
fair and handsome?
TFH.
When you met him, he was your Prince Charming.
Yes,
because you always.
Because they taught us that in the books. That's what he's saying.
Which is what I should.
Teach the kids the reality. So when they grow up, they expect.
So what did you do? Because in the fairy tales, they tell you to keep yourself. Do they not tell you to keep yourself? Be a virgin.
They kissed their Cinderella.
Did they say that?
They kissed
their For me, the real issue is that with Africans need to generate. We need to generate our content. Africans need to generate our content into the modern world. So we had fairy tales, story of Ijapa, you know, the tortoise. We had the story of the tortoise. We had the story of the tortoise and the air. Yeah, tortoise and air. And you know, these stories were used to teach us values, and they were passed on from generation to generation. Our parents would say tales by moonlight. But we don't have that anymore now. We don't have it in books. We don't have it in books that are interesting, catchy, animation, all of that. These Cinderella stories are stories of years ago, done in the Western world, reflecting their society and their issues at the time. We need to do stories that will push the right values for our time. For that, I agree with him. How we go about it might be different. We need more writers that are writing channels towards children. We have some, and we must always acknowledge that we have some already, but we just need to have more, and we need to project them to the limelight so that people will see that there's a viable option for me to buy a book made in Nigeria, by a Nigerian with stories for me.
Opportunities for you to blow.
Young business.
Okay, so there's this particular story.
My daughter, she was very afraid of Sokolokobangoshe.
Sorry, what's that?
I just know it's the longest. It's supposed to be the longest word to spell. Anyway, I remember this particular story that
she was a witch or something.
It was to scare people.
There's this particular story my grandma used to tell us, and it was about a prince that was ready to get married, and all the maidens in the village had to know his name for him to marry him. And all of them that came, you know, did not get his name. When my mom would tell us that story, she would make it about the girls did not go to school. They don't like to read their books. So the girls, now saw that they are not reading their books. They're not washing plates, you know. And that is why when I tell my daughter the story, I tell her that when she gets to the prince, she asks him questions like, what do you do? What have you read, you know? So for her, it's not, so I am changing the story as well, you know, as we're growing. So I'm making it my own, right? To teach a better message modify the stories, for
the children today to consume that. Okay, right, interesting. But going back to adopting international standards all the time. So we're saying that the fairy tale stories are not our culture, but these are stories that we have actually accepted. And we grew up with these stories, and we didn't turn out bad. We didn't turn out bad, YK.
Did we turn out well? Look at our country.
No, but people would say to you that we have expectations.
How well is our country?
No,
They would say
how many of them have read fairy tales?
Yeah, people would say we have unrealistic expectations of men because of the sort of stories that we grew up on. So you expect to have a Prince Charming, you get married to this man, and then he has flaws, and you cannot stand it because that's not what Cinderella told you will happen to you.
Let me take this call. Good morning. Are you there? Thanks for calling.
Yes, good morning. My name is Layo.
Morning.
I'm calling from London.
Go ahead, please, Layo.
Well done with the good work.
Thank you.
Yes, I encourage that topics be included in children's novels. For instance, my pastor's wife, Pastor Nomsio Ikoye, has written 2 books. Don't Touch Me There, and I can't remember the title of the other one, but those are books that are to let children know where Don't Touch Me. You know, they're educative, but in a children's way, in a way that children will understand. And also, let's not forget that books are actually age appropriate. So with this kind of topic, it can be appropriate for a teenager, 16-year-old to read. 16-year-old to read about, raping and all those sort of things. Yes, not for a 2-year-old or a 5-year-old. As long as it's age appropriate for the child, I think our authors should be encouraged.
Thank you, Laya. I think Laya has actually made it clear because she's saying that, listen, you can actually address those issues in books, make it age appropriate. But because our society today, is faced with these issues of pedophilia. We have perverts everywhere. People are raping their children, incest. These are issues that are in our society today. So I think
it's not our society. It's been in our society for years, for generations. It is because of social media now. The way the media has become explosive. That is why we hear more about it now. It's not that it wasn't there before.
To help us to address it, maybe some of these books can actually begin to address this kind of issues. It might be really good. Let's take a few tweets and we can wrap up on this. Any tweets on this?
Yes.
Go ahead.
He said, Bilikis Mafe says, precisely, contents, precisely what we need to develop. Contents are what we need to develop. We've had this conversation before, and I recall you had a guest who writes children's book on your show. Please bring her again. The awareness needs to be re-echoed. We only can tell our own stories. Enough of Western fairy tales.
Right. Let's go on a break now. When we come back, Mike, you have a tweet?
Please, what is Shokoloko Bango again? It seems you are the only one that knows it is something scary. You mean nobody knows about Shokoloko Bango?
I heard about it. It's too scary.
I knew it as a child. What we knew, do you know the longest Nigerian word? Spell it. And that's all.
Are you kidding? No, it was a scary story.
I can't even remember the story. She was a witch.
Mike, you're mixing up the story. It can't be that one.
No.
There's Abiku. Is it Abiku?
No. There's Ayamatanga.
No, that one is a movie. That one is a series.
I remember that one. I used to show it at night.
Does anybody in the studio know about Shokoloko Bango?
Nobody, only you.
Only you.
Nobody knows.
GOC.
Please.
She's looking for a generation.
You know you are not our generation.
Please, okay.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe it.
Let me take this call before we go on a break. Daramola, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Yeah, please, I think there is something we are missing here.
Yes.
Now, parents at times, the gap, one of you said the other time, there's this gap between parents and children now these days. That sometimes we don't care to even go through the books of these children.
Yes.
So some of their books, they have these things. I was shocked one of these days. I was going through my daughter's book and there were stories there. And it's been long I read with her. So I had to go through it. I read those stories and those stories are very meaningful. These were the things our parents used to do back then. So these days, how many of us are doing these things? So thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll continue. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Okay, thanks for staying with us. So Wike is still trying to figure out this Shokoloko Bango story. I mean, nobody knows.
I'm not trying to figure it. It's a folk tale.
Remind
us. We
had
a lot of folk tales in Nigeria. So I
Google
used to have
it,
an auntie. It's only one song that is, even Google doesn't know about Shokoloko
So it doesn't exist.
Of course it exists. It's a folk tale. Your folk tales.
Michael,
look, I know a lot of tortoise and
hair.
and
there are many
monkey and lion. there are a lot of these stories.
Yeah.
There's Alujon John. There's so many stories.
The turtle and the dog. That one is the dog went up. Yeah. And I'm not shared that with my children.
Do you remember Tales
So
by
we have
Moonlight?
forgotten all these stories. We have forgotten all these stories.
But Chocolate Bango Shea, we don't know that one. Okay.
Actually, I've heard about it before the song.
It's a folk tale.
And so, you know what?
You've heard about it before. I'm glad you have heard about it.
Call Uncle Theo and see if you know. Maybe you can find somebody. Because right now,
Chocolate Bango Shea is a story about a witch. It is an old story. I'm trying to recall the storyline. YK is right. Everybody sort of remembers, but nobody can say for sure.
So, I think what
no, Chocolate Bango Shea is a story about a witch. It is an old story. I'm trying to recall the storyline. Yes.
Okay.
So I mean, at 58, will I remember what I learned when I was 10 or 5 or something? Okay, right. You know, it's a long time.
That's the problem. You guys don't pass these things properly. You don't pass it on.
We had books. I don't have those books anymore.
Yeah, so
my mom used to buy me those folk tales. It wasn't just Cinderella books that they bought for us.
We had... Good morning. Are you there? Thanks for calling.
Good morning, Mariah, and good morning to the ladies.
Good morning.
So I'll just get quickly back to the first topic. I think talking about blowing and growing.
Yes.
But you know, this is the greatest challenge I face today. I have a couple of 7 guys working for me. I'm a designer.
Okay.
And you can imagine for my most senior, I pay him about 180,000 naira a month.
Wow.
Most months he gets more money than me. You understand? But this is worrisome because he still feels, and most of them still feel they want to blow. You understand? So it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy because you ladies a question that can portray what blowing and growing means. And it's about impact. Mariah, you and Hush Up, who do you think is more influential? Who do you think is more positive? Who do you think is much better to society? Let me tell you something. You have done something that many homes that are projected to go through divorce wouldn't have. Today, they didn't make that move because they listen to you ladies and you inspire the thoughts of ladies. For me as a person, your view has really helped me marry because every time I listen to ladies, I can dissect the voice of ladies and I'm able to judge how my wife and judge how I should balance my home. So it's all about understand who is in the society.
Thank you so much. That means a lot to us. Thank you so much.
See, what you just said totally connects with me because I understand, I run a business and I'm employing these young people and they work for 2-3 months and they're not seeing anything and they are hurrying off. And I'm telling them that I've invested a lot of money in this business. I've bought products, I've bought lights, I've got office altogether. I'm not making money too. So why are you so uncomfortable with the fact that it might take a while? You can't in 3 months expect the customer to rely on you. And we need to keep on saying this over and over again, that there's a process to this thing. It doesn't happen suddenly, and you must stay the course. Even if you want that big thing, you must stay that course.
There are 2 things I want to say here. To you, I want to say, soldier go, soldier come, barracks still remain. You are the barracks, you will remain there. You will stand gidigba, and you will continue. They will come and they will go. The ones that will stay with you will stay. Then I want to also use my father as an example. My father did not die a millionaire or a billionaire or what you call blowing. He didn't have that kind of wealth. But the impact that he had, that people
generations to come,
yet unborn will know his name.
Yes. Yeah.
That is impact. That is, do you understand?
Is real impact. Real impact.
Is it that kind of impact we want in our lives where people will remember you for generation, or is it that sudden wealth that you will come, you will spend, your children, it will not pass 2 generations.
May I add to
one
that?
Generation.
During Fela's time, he was persecuted. He had, in fact, a lot of people that say, hey, Fela, they will hide their children, don't go to shrine, no. They will not openly say, I listen to Fela. It's just a few people that will say, I'm a Fela fan. Then, people were so, they keep it to themselves. But you see, he stayed, he paid the dues. Today, everybody's celebrating Fela.
Yeah.
I have this call. Mariam, let me take this call. I'll come to you. Hello, are you there?
Yes, I'm here with you.
Mary, go ahead, please. You're live.
Thank you very much, Mariah. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
You and your colleagues, YK, Topware, and the rest of them. I always enjoy your program.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I just want to speak on this issue of blow. This issue of blow in Nigeria. You know, I enjoy what the EFCC chairman is doing, but I think there is the need for us to change our value system. You know, abroad, people don't spray money. But you find out in Nigeria that when somebody comes back, he says he has blown or he's blowing, And then he goes for an event and he starts spraying money.
Why?
The other time I saw them on the Facebook, spraying dollars, spraying naira and the rest of them. And not just for the masses, even the senators, the politicians, Christians too, pastors. So this issue has to be stopped. The EFCC chairman must take into consideration that there is no need for Nigerians to be abusing our notes, abusing foreign currencies, because when they come out to the public to spray, they are just showing off. And this makes people, to be looking for wealth everywhere.
Thank you very much. I think we can wrap up on that, but let me just let Mary
Just quickly, Mary, just an answer to that.
Thank you so much, Mary.
Yeah. I recently saw a video where a girl was like debating in school and she was making great points. Just a little girl in primary school. And people came to her and they were putting money, they were spraying her money. It was so cringe-worthy for me. I mean, I'm like, no. Yes, they're appreciating her. So Nigerians think that is by spraying money on her intelligence.
That's money,
could have called her
a different topic, please.
Meanwhile, there's a Nigerian boy.
Lagosians,
okay, no. There's a Nigerian boy who discovered a mathematical formula for something, and he's been honored. In the UK, he's honored. His name is being written down. So those are the sort of things.
Our culture, please. If you're in Lagos, listen. Spraying is a different topic on the day. So,
and you're not ready to scatter that table yet.
You're not ready to show the things you are discussing. I must be on the show. I beg, let me read this tweet. Okay, Isiba says, Shokoloko Bangoshe was an imaginary creature that has special powers, which is used to help people when in need. It was meant to groom us to help people with our knowledge. Okay. Andrew from Stratham says, I know Shokoloko Bangoshi. Oh, wow. It is African folklore tale. So why even the lady surprised me. That I don't know this African tale. You don't know. I expect Tokpe to know it.
Okay, so YK1, Shokoloko Bangoshi exists, no problem.
Somebody says disjointed.
But we have to say happy birthday to Mr. Olukunle Folarin. He's the director in charge of entertainment. He's the head of production, and he's been an amazing guy. He's a good friend, and he's somebody that he has a great team. And today's his birthday. We wish him a very, very happy
birthday, Folarin.
I'm coming for my cake.
I proudly say that I think I'm one of the very few people that handed over successfully to somebody who is competent. The transition was a smooth transition. I think it was maybe one of the few transitions I've seen where it's been smooth. There's no issues. We are friends. We rely on each other. We talk to each other, and we're good. And that's exactly how it should be. That's leadership.
It shows two exemplary leaders.
That's called exemplary leadership. You leave the place, somebody else takes the shine, and he takes the shine, and he's doing a great job. Well done,
Elijah and Elisha.
On that note, see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Oh,